Welcome to Reading the Bible with Pastor. Today we're on Genesis chapter 18. We had previously read that Abraham was told that he would have a son, and he laughed, and Isaac means he laughs. Now the Lord will tell Sarah that she is going to have a son, and we'll see what happens. And the Lord appeared to him, that is Abraham, by the oaks of Mamre, as he sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day. He lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, 3 men were standing in front of him. When he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the earth, and said, O Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, do not pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree, while I bring a morsel of bread, that you may refresh yourselves, and after that you may pass on, since you have come to your servant. So they said, Do as you have said. And Abraham went quickly into the tent to Sarah and said, Quick, 3 seahs of fine flour, knead it and make cakes. Now 3 seahs of fine flour would be about 21 quarts of flour. For these 3 men, that's an extremely large amount of flour for bread for them to eat. And these 3 men is the Lord and 2 angels that have come to give word to Abraham of what's going to happen. Continue with verse 7. And Abraham ran to the herd, and took a calf tender and good, and gave it to a young man, who prepared it quickly. Then he took curds and milk, and the calf that he had prepared, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree while they ate. Here, Abraham understands that this is the Lord here before him, God himself, and is preparing a meal. And he says he's going to bring a morsel of bread. But in reality, he prepares quite a nice feast. A calf is butchered for them. He creates these large bread cakes for them that no man could eat by himself. And so he serves the Lord here in thankfulness of what he has provided for him. As you remember, he has promised a son, and has promised him land, and has given him wealth. We'll continue with verse 9. They said to him, Where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, She is in the tent. The Lord said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, shall have a son. And Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in years. The way of women had ceased to be with Sarah. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, After I am worn out and my Lord is old, shall I have pleasure? So here in Sarah's old age, probably unable to bear children, she laughs, just as her husband Abraham laughed about having a child. But the Lord answers in verse 13. The Lord said to Abraham, Why did Sarah laugh and say, Shall I indeed bear a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? Saying here that even can the Lord not make it so that Sarah can become pregnant? Which he can do. All things are under his power. He continues, At the appointed time I will return to you, about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. He said, No, but you did laugh. Then the men set out from there, and they looked down toward Sodom. And Abraham went with them to set them on their way. The Lord said, Shall I hide for Abraham what I am about to do, seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him? For I have chosen him, that he may command his children and his household after him to keep the way of the Lord by doing righteousness and justice, so that the Lord may bring to Abraham what he had promised him. Then the Lord said, Because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grave, I will go down to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry that has come to me, and if not, I will know. We see here in this last section that the Lord is providing information to Abraham about the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. He knows Abraham to be a follower of the Lord, And he wants him to know that if you do not abide in God's word, destruction comes. And we see that with sin in our lives. Sin leads to death. But we have forgiveness in the Lord. Next time we'll see about that forgiveness. We'll see about that justice that the Lord provides, that he provides a way for the righteous to live. We'll pick up next time then with Genesis chapter 18, verse 22. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment and like the video. That will allow us to provide more content for other people.